1. Finally, for the chapter on Wenham, I was given every assistance possible by the staff at Wenham Museum, for which I am grateful. I quote from materials under their care with permission. Finally, I cannot but express my indebtedness to all of those who over the years have enriched my understanding by their faithful preaching of the Word of God, by their examples of principled living, and by their spiritual authenticity. Those whose friendship has constantly provoked me into doing better myself. They have helped me to see that those who are most relevant to this world are those who are judged most irrelevant. Introduction. I hesitated briefly as I entered the large, inhospitable lecture hall to which my beginning class in theology had been assigned. My hesitation had little to do with the room, though that does leave something to be desired. Not only is the professor's desk remote from the students, who are banked away in ascending tiers to the point of dim visibility at the back, but the heating system often goes into reverse. From time to time in winter, the bonhomie is rudely broken with little warning and less reason by a merciless, icy blast, as this rogue system suddenly begins to suck air in from the outside instead of warming and circulating it from within. Here indeed is a parable of modern existence, a machine that no one can tame, intended for the comforting of human life, working its wreckage on the best-laid plans of the institution. That, however, was not why I hesitated, for I had learned to protect myself against this temperamental monster by having an overcoat at hand when things got really bad. Nor was it the palpable quietness that I knew would suddenly overcome this class as I began my descent toward the front. Many of these students, if they were like their predecessors, would be scared stiff. First, there was my reputation to be considered, more alarming than Ivan the Terrible, I am told, especially at exam time. And second, there was the subject. Theology is so remote from anything that many had thought about or considered important that the first encounter was always quite puzzling and often threatening. All of that was simply part of the situation, the given, as they say. But I hesitated that day for another reason. I really had no great certainty as to how I was going to circumvent their fear and make some connections with the curiosity that surely had to be lurking somewhere in each of these men and women. It was important that I do that early in the going. But before I could attempt this tricky venture, there was the introduction of the course to be taken care of. Now I had the great advantage of knowing one of the questions that would later appear on the student evaluation form, the consumer's report, which each would be asked to fill out at the end of the course. Was the course adequately introduced? And after the question there follow numbers from 1 to 5, from superior to poor, for grading the professor. The problem is that I have never understood the question. Is it not enough that the catalogue describes the content of the course, or am I expected to read this to them? Elaborate on it? Give a potted version of what lies before them? Talk in vague but reassuring ways about life, to give them time to get acclimated to me and to start feeling comfortable with the course of studies into which they were entering? My confusion on this point is amply attested by the low grades I always garner. After these student evaluations have passed before my eyes, heavy with their sombre scoring, they go to the dean's office and then into some wretched file, a permanent and damning testimony to the fact that I have not yet learned how to introduce my courses well. And who knows when they will be dragged out and unleashed upon me with a pointed finger. He is the one who knows not how to introduce his courses adequately. So, on this particular day, once the quietness had settled over the class, I quickly completed the opening rituals and got down to business. What better way to introduce the course and at the same time dispense a bit of paternal comfort than to deal head-on with their fears?